Well, somebody break up the Blazers, Dirt. They've won 3 of 5, and they won in overtime last night against the old Houston Rockets on a back-to-back thanks to a Jeremy Grant 3.
And a little miracle there at the buzzer.
With 1.2 seconds left, the little fade on the wing, bank in 3. And they dominated in overtime, and they win 137-131 in OT. I've seen some reporting. I'm trying to listen and read as much as I can on some of this stuff because we're close to the deadline. And there's a little intel. I don't know. You don't have to believe it.
Little sound.
There's some noise. Blazers aren't in a rush to trade Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant. We're running it back, huh? Yeah, run it back.
What are we doing?
We're winning 3 of our last 5 is what we're doing.
They're only 28 games below 500.
One listener noted.
18 games below 500. I'm bad at math.
One listener noted last night, hey, you guys been trashing DA 18 and 17 last night. Why don't we stop the trashing of DA?
I mean, if he does that for a month straight, then I'll stop trashing him. But one good game does not mean he's living up to the hype and potential as a franchise building block. Malcolm Brogdon has one more year left on his deal after this season. And
I would be.
You can't do that, dude.
What's the Clark Griswold head to the carpet?
Head sewn to the carpet.
I would. That phrase with me on not trading Malcolm Brogdon or not being in a, quote, rush to trade him.
Whether it's now or whether it's in the offseason. What are we doing?
No, they're trading.
That has to be. Are we sure? Are we trusting this organization to do the right thing? Remember when we were going to go all in so hard that you're going to hurt. Your loins are going to hurt.
You're going to make fun of us.
You're going to be so uncomfortable with how all in we went to win with Damian Lillard. You're not even going to know what hit you, man.
How much sex would you have to have for your loins to hurt?
A lot of sex.
Man, when sex becomes painful, you're like, man, did you just ruin sex for me the rest of my life?
I'm out.
Let me look at the YouTube camera here. I will proclaim Joe Cronin. He will do the right thing.
Okay, sure.
He will make that necessary trade.
Yes, he totally will. Just like that's why they tanked for 2 years to build a title team around Dame and then drafted 2 18-year-olds and started an overhaul rebuild after lying to the fan base and the franchise player for 2 years. I'm in total agreement with you that they're going to do the right thing here and they're going to trade Malcolm Brogdon. You can't not trade him.
Well, you can actually.
You can't. You can't.
You could choose not to trade him.
Look, last night was fun. If you care about winning and losing or the Blazers, that's great. Congratulations. I'm glad you
Why are you so miserable?
I just don't care about the team this year. I watched like 75% of that game last night. What do you want from me? I'm not emotionally invested in it. I don't care.
How dare you?
But I have the same reaction at the end of every game.
What?
Has Scoot Henderson been able to play any minutes in an overtime in his NBA career? He wasn't on the floor at all last night in overtime.
He did not play the end of that game.
No, he wasn't in the fourth quarter, hardly at all down the stretch. He didn't play at all in overtime.
Wasn't he the third overall pick?
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. And aren't the Blazers 18 games below 500 with no hope on the horizon?
Can't you guys just take the nice things when you get them? I love to beat the Houston Rockets. Let me just say that.
Are you anti-Rocket?
I hate the Rockets.
What do I hate the Rockets for? I feel like
I've hated the Rockets since they did the James Harden thing, and I didn't stop hating them.
Was it Clyde? A little Clyde mixed in there? Clyde winning in Houston? Is there a deep-seated subliminal hatred from our childhoods?
There is a bit of that. I've always wanted to ask lifetime Blazer fan that is older than us, like, didn't he ruin a little bit of what he did here? Like, it's one thing to go back home and win a ring with your boy from college. I get it. You go in the Hall of Fame as a Rocket?
Yeah, we got issues there.
Like, piss off. That's kind of where my stance is on that. I love Dream. I used to, Stevie Franchise was fun for a couple seasons.
He was. That old Rockets logo was great, too.
Yeah, Chuck Barkley and Scott Pippen. Like, those were fun years.
First name basis. Scott. Hey, what's up, Scott?
Well,
Big fan of your game, Scott.
But yeah, since the James Harden Clipper days, I've hated. I'll take it a step further back. I hated the Rockets when they had Yao and Ron Artest, and they came into Portland, and we thought we were beating a first-round team, and we got our asses handed to us.
That was not a fun playoff series.
No, that was like being bullied and having to watch it every time they played.
Finally back in the playoffs.
I'll go that far back. At that point, I've hated that franchise.
That's
and
fair.
Now they've got Ime, who, like, he's the local guy, but, like, kind of a weird sleaze bag. Now they got Dylan Brooks. Like, yeah, I know, go Ducks for some of you, but come on, like, there's no way you're proud of that. And
he's a legend, Duck legend, baby.
I just
Final Four, get you one of these, Sprague.
I hate the Rockets. Even in a tanking year, I will take a nice win over the Rockets any day of the week.
That's fair. I will give you. I mean, if you want positives, DeAndre Ayton was one. That's great. Congratulations. I hope that continues. One game once a month is not going to be enough to make $30 million a year, however much money he's making. Like, you're capable of doing that on a consistent basis. You claimed you're a max player, and you're going to continue to be a max player. 7 points and 2 rebounds.
Well, he didn't claim it. He is. By definition, his contract says he is a max player.
Okay, Hassan Whiteside.
7 points and 2 rebounds is not max player level, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not asking for 18 and 17 every night, but you can be much better than you've been.
Well, 12 points on 10 shots is not efficient.
Not good. It's not efficient at all.
Don't look at me weird by saying, okay, Hassan Whiteside. I'm not saying that DeAndre Ayton and Hassan Whiteside are the same exact player. What happened to Hassan Whiteside after he signed a max contract in the NBA, though? Nothing. He signed a couple of really small contracts after that. So for Ayton to say, oh, I'm still going to be, bro, you got to keep the effort up. And we're starting
Guys,
to see
they won. This is such a downer segment. I'm over here just living in happiness.
Well, what is this, like 3 months into the season?
What's there to be?
Into DeAndre's first season, and we're already seeing some of the issues creep out of that locker room.
Oh, we
like
absolutely
are.
In
Phoenix.
Absolutely.
Shocking.
We got shooters. Remember that video? We got shooters.
Most exciting young team in the NBA.
We got shooters. Jabari Walker's been really good, though. That was fun to see him continue to play well.
We got a guy.
That's a bonus for me. Jabari Walker's a lot of fun to watch. Hit a couple of big free throws late in that game, too, in overtime.
I'm not worried at a long-term level here, but it would be nice if Tamani's three-point percentage would rise a little bit because I love Tamani Kamara.
He has no offensive game to speak of. There's nothing on the other end of the floor.
That's
why he was a second-round pick.
I was going to say, you watch him and you go, God, what a steal. And then you watch him for like an extended period. You go, there's the second roundness right there. It's the lack of offense. They have won 3 of 5.
They have. They should have. I mean, they should have won in OKC too.
Yes, they should have.
That should have been a win.
Absolutely,
or easily could have been a win.
We talked about that. We'll see what they do at the deadline. I'm interested. I don't buy the noise or whatever you want to categorize it. They're not in a rush. Like, okay. And then somebody comes with the right offer. Brogdon's been good this year.
Yes.
And Jeremy seems like something they want to keep. I think they've let that kind of publicly be known. But what if somebody gives you like 2 firsts and a player? He's a nice piece for a team that's maybe looking to contend or take a step up.
Yeah, I'd imagine the response would be, how many draft picks do you need? And I would say in a rebuild, you get as many as you can.
I want as many as Oklahoma City. There's your answer right there.
And hopefully you can turn it into something. To your point on Kamara, though, it just kind of symbolizes another issue that I have. Even in the happy days of a win and winning 3 out of 5, you're in this weird flux position, right? Like, what are you trying to win games right now, or are you trying to develop for the future? And it feels like Portland is trying to do both again. And this is my issue with Brogdon and why I desperately want him to get traded. I don't care what your final record is this year. I want Scoot playing 40 minutes a night. Kamara's minutes have dipped significantly as the year has gone on. In the first month of the year, he was up around 26-ish minutes a game. Then it was down to about 25. Now he's down to barely 22. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going in the wrong direction. We know how talented he is defensively. You can argue he's a liability offensively, and you're not wrong. He is. He has no offensive game. I just tend to be of the belief with all these young guys that they're going to learn by playing, and you're going to learn by going through things. And, I tried that move and it didn't work. Or, hey, I can try this. Or maybe back cuts are what I need to work. Whatever the case, like him being on the floor is going to help his development. And you're in this weird flux again of, are we trying to win and celebrate being 13-31, or are we focusing on developing young guys and not caring what the record is? We can't have it both ways.
Yes.